Are you desperately trying to change certain habits? Are you caught in certain behavioral patterns that are not really serving you? Have you finally found the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to change a certain aspect of my life and it's not really happening? It's not really implemented in your routine yet. This is normal. This is exactly how habit formation works. You're going to fail a few times. You're going to feel like you want to give up because your inner voice is telling you, see, I am right. You're never ever going to do this. How this process actually works. What exactly is a habit? How can we create new habits? And why does habit changing not work? I would like to talk about something in a metaphorical way. Imagine a very thin thread and imagine a very thick one. Let's say one is thick as a tree trunk and the other one is thin as a hair. Imagine that you're doing something for the very first time. The very first time you hear something, you say something, you experience something. It creates a connection in our brain. It creates a neural connection, a neural pathway. This means the very first time is thin as a hair. If I tell you, hey, you look good, you hear this, you notice this, you're aware enough and conscious enough, hopefully, to understand what those words mean. And it means that I'm giving you a compliment. That doesn't mean that you believe me. That doesn't mean that you agree with it. It doesn't mean that you share the same opinion. So me complimenting you is not something that you take as a truth. But if this is the first time that you hear it, the thin hair, compared to the millionth time you hear this, the big tree trunk that we were talking about, that means if I compliment someone that doesn't believe they look good, their inner voice might be telling them he needs something, he wants something. They might be suspicious of my compliment. They might be in doubt why I'm saying this. What is the actual message or purpose of him saying this? You see where this is going? Overthinking, anxiety, unhappy feelings. If you believe that you're good looking, if you believe and you're confident enough to call yourself good looking, and I say, hey, you look good, the compliment is completely differently received. Your motherboard, your belief system, the control center up in here, creates how you perceive things. So if your motherboard is telling you that you're not good enough, you will never be successful. Your motherboard, your baseline is telling you you will never create this new habit. Then why do you think you will succeed? You first have to convince yourself. You first have to believe yourself that you can do a certain thing. Think about it this way. Hopefully, I'm talking to an audience that is capable of tying their own shoelace. But the very first time you did this, it was a struggle. You're probably quite young. People explained it to you. You were consciously thinking about how to make the movement with your fingers. Where does the left or the right lace go? How exactly do I do this? And you had to repeat this over and over and over again. But the very first time somebody told you at that young age, we're going to learn how to tie your shoelace, there was this thin hair of a connection in your brain. This neural pathway, thin as a hair. Right now, if you put on your shoe, you probably don't even think about it. It goes so fast. You're probably going over your shopping list, or do I have my keys? Do I have my wallet? Do I have my bag? Is everything ready? And meanwhile, you're tying your shoelace. That's because that connection is now thick as a tree trunk. You believe 1,000,000% that you can tie your shoelace. It happens subconsciously. So your control center, your belief system knows I can tie my shoelace. So if your belief system is a supportive system, if your belief system is a system that actually shows you and tells you on a subconscious level that you can change a certain habit, that you are good enough to do this, that you are strong enough to withstand the challenges, the difficult times, the moments that maybe you feel like giving up because it's easier to go back, and you still push through. You have to convince yourself, you have to make sure that you believe in yourself, that you can do things. So a much easier way to start by changing your habits is forgetting about the old habit and creating a completely new one. Replace habitual patterns with new ones, because that connection that is made between A and B, we can't change that connection. We can only create a new one, not going from A to B, but from A to C or wherever. So understand that we can't change a habit. We can change a certain behavioral pattern, or in our cognitive behavior or our physical behavior, but we can't change the habit. We can create a complete new one. Let me share one example with the definition of a habit. The habit loop. We have a cue, we have a routine, and we have a reward. The cue can be anything. The cue can be something that happens externally. Somebody uses a certain word. Somebody steps on your toe. The weather is not exactly what you were expecting it to be. It could be internally, a negative thought. You have a thinking pattern that is not beneficial. A cue can be anything. You waking up might be the cue for you getting your cup of coffee. You getting woken up by your alarm might be the cue for you to snooze. So a cue can be anything that starts a certain routine. Routine is step number 2. So the cue has happened, now you have a certain routine. That is your actual habit, your response to the cue. So if you have that alarm going on, do you put your feet on the ground, get out of the bed and start your day, routine A, or are you a snoozer? Let's call that one routine B. Which one do you want to be your routine? If you are a snoozer, you probably want to create a new habit. Don't change the old. The cue is the same. Create a new routine. And why? Because you want a new reward. The main reason why we're trying to change habits, the main reason why we're trying to change our routines is because we're not happy with the results, or better put, the reward. If you're in bed, the alarm goes and you snooze, the reward is instantly feeling good because, oh, I get a few more minutes in my warm bed. Oh, I get to sleep a little longer. The reward is now. It's instant. But once you have started your day, maybe you have to rush because you snooze too much. Maybe you got a bit stressed. Maybe you are in a negative state of mind because of the snoozing. So you felt great instantly. And now the long-term effect is that you're not feeling that great. Why would we snooze? Why would you stay in that routine if it's a short-term success and a long-term negative? It's because you make the decision, you allow yourself to make the decision that short-term success, instant gratification, is more important than long-term success. I aim for the future. I want to be the best possible version of myself for the rest of my life. Therefore, I have to start in the here and now. I have to start today. Changing your reward, changing your routine with the exact same cue. That is what habit formation is all about. I would love to go further into depth of this, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in my webinars and my seminar. If you are interested in changing your habitual patterns, in changing your cognitive behavior, in changing the results that you're getting in your life, make sure you start with your belief system first. And that's exactly what my webinar and seminar is all about. We're going to start with belief system, we're going to create a better habitual pattern, and we're going to create better rewards for ourselves. You choose what it is that you want. I will guide you through the process and I will help you to create insight and awareness in what is going on right now. How can we change things and then project our future? If you're interested in anything like this, drop me a message. Let's get connected and let's make sure that as soon as possible, you're in new habitual patterns. It is that simple. I'm not saying it's easy because there's a lot of negative voices that are going to talk to you. There's a lot of difficult moments and there's going to be a million times that you're going to fall off the horse. But guess what? That makes us human. Get back on the horse. Let's do it again the next time and make sure that we learn and we grow from every mistake that we make.